This is my video for week 6 at Bridgeton, Quarter Mile Lane. Um, so we were supposed to observe and discuss with a cooperating teacher about encouraging independent reading. So for us, we had a sub, but we already kind of knew what was going on for independent reading. On their tables, they have a book box where they are allowed to flip through, pick books whenever they have independent time. They're allowed to read it. But as I stated before in my previous video, is that my student doesn't have a lot of books to choose from in her level. Most of the books would be like pictures that she could just look through. She struggles a lot with reading, so her independent level is really low, and independent for her would be just looking at the pictures, and there's a couple words that she knows, but otherwise she doesn't really have an independent level. She's always going to need that extra help and that extra push to actually read a book. They also have they're like little blue book bags that are supposed to go home with them, but we have not seen them go home. They've been empty. They've been sitting there. Our long-term sub told us that she was going to put books in there and send them home, but she was worried that the kids won't bring them back and that they would be lost and the school would be out of all these books and our teacher would be out of all these books as well. So she decided it was better to keep the books here and just have book boxes on their table so they could read. Which is sad because I don't believe that my student has anything at home that she's able to read. I don't know if anyone reads it with her at home. It definitely doesn't seem so. She seems to struggle. And even when she's at school, she has, and I ask her to read with me, she doesn't even try to read a word. She'll immediately ask me if she doesn't know what it is. She'll immediately ask me what it is. And if I say, like, try again, she goes, I don't know, what is it? I don't know, what is it? And she'll just keep asking until I answer her. If I don't answer her, she won't try to sound it out. She really struggles with that. I feel like in order to get her fluency moving in reading, that she needs more books on her level and she needs a lot more individual help. I'm not really seeing the individual help with her. I see it with other students, but she seems to be left out in that, at least when I'm there. I don't know if it might be very different when I'm not there, but when I'm there, she seems to leave me to help her. And then if I walk away to help another student, she's still struggling, she still needs help, but I am working on that with my lessons. If I remember correctly, there is a club for reading. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Like I said, my cooperating teacher wasn't there this week. The sub wasn't there. We asked the teacher's aide, and she says she thinks there is one too. I think there's a reading club. I remember hearing it over the announcements. So it sounds like something that would be interesting, but unfortunately the children in my kindergarten class are still unable to read and therefore do not participate in this club. I think it would be a good idea to have a club after school that is more about learning to read instead of independent reading and like a book club sort of thing. I don't think my students understand, not just my student, I think the entire class doesn't understand what the reading is. I don't know if they're not told because they are younger and they might not understand what's going on in the club, but even if they have like an after school club where they have someone like reading their books or just have a partner like a big brother, big sister sort of thing where they can just sit down with someone and have them read books to each other, like the big sister can read books to them and the big brother can read books to them and vice versa. So I just think it would be a good idea to get them more involved in reading because of the lack of being able to read in a lot of the kindergarten classes that I've heard about so far. I really think that because my student is unable to read, she kind of has this don't care attitude to it. She, seems to want to read when I read with her, but as soon as she gets to a word she doesn't know, she kind of like cuts it off, and that's the end of that. But I'm excited to be able to work with her and hopefully get her reading fluency up and her independent level up. I know it's going to take a while and a lot of work, but I hope so. Until next week.